'cause I want you to know wherever you go, you're my honey baby, my honey baby, you're my honey badger.
Let's hear it for Pancho Man. We are again presented by EAS Sports Nutrition, Cliff Bar, Timex Roca, Tanya Puerto Resort, Rudy Project, Slow Twitch studio audience here today. Very, very excited. Only because we've got the Honey Badger, Mary Beth Ellis in the house, coming off of a win at Mount Tremblant and a win at ITU World Championships long course. It's been a good 2015.
Yeah, it really has. 2014 I struggled, and then this year back working again with Brett Sutton, I feel like I've hit my stride, and we've found the magic again and been able to get some wins. So I can never complain when you win a race.
What I love is that you've had two major coaches, Siri Lindley, Brett Sutton, Siri Lindley, Brett Sutton. You sort of like every couple years just sort of rotate back and forth. And two of the greatest coaches.
Oh, definitely. I mean I've gotten to work with the two best coaches in the sport, in my opinion, and I couldn't ask for a better combination, and I've learned so much over the last 9-10 years in the sport.
Being back with Brett, talk a little bit about being back with Brett and what he brings to the table.
I think Brett just really looks at each athlete individually. He can tell your strengths and your weaknesses and really knows what you need to work on to.
Yeah.
And for me, one of my weaknesses has been the last half of that marathon. So we've really worked on making sure I'm strong there, doing some ultra long runs, taking some risks in training, and hopefully it'll pay off on race day.
So when I look back at, you were on such a major role, 2013, winning pretty much everything, and that crash that you had, how long do you think a crash is one thing to go, okay, I'm physically healed, but the emotional side of it, the throwing your body off, all the rest, how long do you think it really took you to recover?
I think physically you can be back, as you said, within 3 or 4 months, but I do think mentally it takes longer, probably 6 months to a year, just, to kind of get yourself back and have the confidence again to really go for it on the bike. I think you're a little tentative.
Right. When I look back at the different things you've done, the 8:43 at Ironman Austria, which at the time was, first that was that your Ironman debut?
Yes, yeah.
So you must be thinking, what, Ironman, Schmeierman, big deal, 8:43. What?
It was tough. I mean, the first race, I think you go into it not knowing what to expect, and I felt great all day until right around 30K on the run, and then like anyone, the elephant jumped on my back, and the last 12K were rough. I had a decent lead at that point, so I managed to, and I was on a good pace, so I managed to still finish in a great time, but I definitely struggled the last 12K.
And you won 4 of your first 10, I think, Ironmans, right? And the transition to the Ironman seemed like it wasn't that tough for you.
I think I've always been more suited to the longer distance. In running, I was always better at the marathon versus the 10K. So I just think my body, I'm suited to the longer distance. And, I mean, it hasn't been easy, but I do think Ironman's where my strengths lie.
When you were diagnosed with osteoarthritis, was that in 2005, around that?
Yeah.
And that's what moved you from running to... So I've got osteoarthritis, so I'm going to move from running and doing an event that takes, 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I'll do an 8-hour or 9-hour event. Take me through that process that you made when you make a decision like that.
Yeah, the osteoarthritis was not a great diagnosis. The doctor said I would need new hips if I kept running the 100-mile running weeks.
So you were doing 100-mile weeks?
Yeah, I'd alternate, do some 80-mile weeks and then go up to 100-mile weeks. And I just love running, and I think I'll always love running, but my body wasn't able to handle that much volume.
Well, and then Olympic trials. Did you do Olympic trials in swimming?
I qualified for both. In swimming, I didn't end up going. It was between our Big Tens and NCAAs, and I wouldn't have made the team anyway.
Okay.
And so trying to taper 3 times in a 4-week period, I would have had a rough race there. So we just tapered for Big Tens and NCAAs, and I went to the trials, but I didn't race.
And running, you qualified for the Olympic trials in that too?
In the marathon.
And what was your marathon PR?
2:41 in Philadelphia, 2001.
And in triathlon?
I think I run 3 hours, right around that mark.
Yeah.
in Austria, actually, my first
Did you
one.
qualify for Olympic trials in triathlon as well?
Yeah, back in 2006. I mean, well, in 2008 for
Yes,
the
Olympic
Beijing, yeah. So we
I
had
don't
the
think there's
trials in
many
Alabama.
people who've done that.
Well, there's some people who've made the team. Oh, Sheila has
Oh,
been
yes.
there in like 3 sports, and Jody Swale
Right.
back in 2008.
Yeah. So going into this race, you're coming off of some good performances. Hopefully the injury bug from 2013 is behind you. How are you feeling going? You've been 5th here before, but there's a lot of folks have not run a 3-hour marathon off the bike, and you have.
Yeah, I feel great. The training block leading in has been good, and I've been healthy all year. You really can't ask for anything other than coming to here fit and healthy and then just execute on race day. So it's just up to me now to execute when it counts on Saturday.
You went to Northwestern?
Yeah.
It's like about a quarter mile from my house. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I love that area.
But you went industrial engineering?
Yeah.
So when you're done with all this stuff, do you go back to that, or you stay in coaching?
I call myself a non-practicing engineer. Right out of undergrad, I did got my master's in marketing, and actually ran. There's a loophole in the NCAA where you can run for your fifth year.
Yeah.
So I've actually only ever done marketing I worked for 6-7 years doing database marketing, e-commerce marketing. So I think back to that.
What is it about this race that makes it special and something that you want to win?
I think this race is just the pinnacle of the long distance sport. For us, it's the only world championship that really matters. I mean, obviously, winning a world title at the ITU distance was amazing, and I'll remember that forever. But winning this Ironman title would just really cap a career that I'm really proud of. And everyone comes here fit and fresh and ready to roll. This is not a B race for anybody. So you get the best girls in the world, and on one of the harder courses, just the conditions are always tough out there. So it just makes for a great race.
9 times you've won the different Ironman races, and you're training with Brett. I'm imagining you've trained with Chrissy Wellington. You've trained with now Daniela Reef. Talk a little bit about those 2 women, what made them special.
I've gotten to train with so many great women, not just
Caroline,
Chrissy, Caroline, Jody, Rinny.
Yes.
And
Well, that's
now
right.
Daniela.
Your time in Colorado, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the one thing that you just realize how strong your competitors are. I think getting to train with the other ladies has really given me such a deep respect for them.
Yes.
And I know that we're all working our hardest every day in and out training. And on race day when you line up, you just have so much respect because you know they've put in the same amount of time you are, and they want it just as much. And it just comes down to a little bit of luck, whoever has the best day, and because we all are out there, giving it our best.
You're one of those people who had a year where you won, I think, 3 Ironman races, and you were on a roll. And Daniela Reef has been on a roll like we haven't seen in a long time. Since finishing 2nd here last year, she won Frankfurt, she won 70.3 Worlds, she won Dubai.
Yeah.
She's on pace to
win
win
$1
the triple
million,
$1 million,
yeah.
right? Which I hear she's going to share with all of Tri-Sutto, which is
Oh,
great.
yes.
That's right. Daniela, you told us yesterday you're going to share with everybody, right? Talk a little bit about when somebody is on a roll like that, what's going on between their ears. When you're sort of going the line going, I don't have to worry about you guys have to worry about me.
It's definitely a magical time when you're on a streak like that, and I think a lot of athletes have had that streak, and it's really special, and I think she's worked hard and deserves it, and she's an amazing athlete. She doesn't have any weaknesses, so there's no reason that she won't go out there and win on Saturday. I think she just has to execute her race, and like you're saying, not necessarily worry about the other girls, worry about her executing her best race.
What do you think you have to do to win here?
I think I need a little bit of luck, and obviously, going out there and just executing my race and not necessarily worrying about Rinny or Daniela, because I think both those girls, if they fire at 100%, I might not beat them. But if they fire at 85%, I think I have a shot. So it's just up to me to really go out there and put together my best combination of swim, bike, and run and get to the finish line as quick as I can. And then once I cross the finish line, see where I'm at in the field.
I don't remember the last time we had an American woman win this race.
I think
it might
Karen
have been
Smyers.
Karen Smyers was the last one, and before that, I think it was Joanne Ernst. So
Yeah.
it's been
A long
it was
time.
85 and 95,
Yeah.
and 2015, huh?
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to see some of the American women really battling in that top 5.
Yes.
There's so many strong girls from around the world that it's going to be tough. But I would love to see some Americans, especially winning this race in the next 10 years. I think we need to take it back.
For you, you've been doing this for a while. How many more years do you want to do it? Have
It's
you
a
started
tough
to even
question.
think about
yeah,
that?
I mean, I would love to have kids, so there's obviously an end point in the future.
Yeah.
I'd love to just finish knowing that I had my best race here and getting to do some of the other iconic races that are on my bucket list before I retire.
Which are those? What do you want to do?
I'd love to go and do Roth. That's one that
I thought you could say that.
Yeah.
That's very special. You would love that race.
And yeah, it just looks like an amazing experience. So that's on the bucket list. And then there's definitely some races in amazing locations. I'd love to race in New Zealand again, do a long distance race there. And there's so many great races in Europe that I love doing, and do some of the hard bike courses in France. And
How many total Ironman events have you done now?
I lost count. I think
North of 20?
not quite
Right
20.
around,
Yeah,
okay.
probably getting close to like 17, 18.
Do you feel like are you still fresh? Is it something you still love? Because I've, over the years, covering marathoners and covering Ironman guys, you can almost see the look in their eyes. They know what's going to happen as a marathoner past mile 20. And they don't really want to be there anymore, and they're sort of doing it. For you, you still love it.
I do. And I think the Ironman's a little more interesting than a marathon. A marathon, you know the formula, you know how you're going to feel at mile 20, whereas an Ironman is such an intricate puzzle, putting
good
together
point. It's
the
different.
swim and
Yeah.
the bike, and how every race can be different if you decide your strategy is to really go for it on the bike and try to just cruise on the run versus really trying to go for it on the run. I think you can race them a little different. So it's and as an athlete, you can really see where there's places to improve with 3 sports versus just the one as a marathoner. So I feel like I have some unfinished business still in the Ironman, and I still have the hunger.
And the best conditions for you on race day? Choppy swim, windy bike, hot run?
I'd love that. The run doesn't have to be too hot, though. We can have some clouds or a little
That's okay.
mist. But yeah, I'd love a hard bike and obviously a choppy swim to try to break things up.
Love that. Mary Beth, always a pleasure to have the Honey Badger in the house.
Thanks for having me.
I love it. Mary Beth Ellis has been our guest. How about a round of applause? We are presented by ES Sports Nutrition, Cliff Bar, Timex, Roca, Tanya Porter Resort, Rudy Project, Slow Twitch, and the main man, Poncho Man.
'Cause I want you to know wherever you go, you're my honey badger, my honey badger, breakfast with Bob.
Poncho Man! Woo!